maybe morning or evening to people who are joining from a different time zone. Today we have more like a continuation of a session that we held some weeks back. And so those of you who joined that session will know how very well it went, and we needed to speak with the presenter to come back to do a follow-up, like a concluding part of that session. So this is brought to you, maybe just to read the title of the presentation. It's Advanced Formulas and Functions, Taking Excel to the Next Level. And our presenter is Benson, Edah. So this session is brought to you by your BizEdge and also in collaboration with MHS Analytics. I know Temidayo has a very funny way of introducing MHS Analytics, but the truth is your BizEdge and MHS Analytics are kind of sister companies. So MHS Analytics is our Canadian entity, and so there's a lot you keep seeing between the both organizations. And your BizEdge, you probably already are familiar with what we do. We are into training. We try to be different a bit because we focus solely on Excel, Power BI, financial modeling, and now we are trying to also add Python and SQL. But the thing is, we are very careful to always teach from a doing perspective. So we do consulting and we do training. So what that means is we are not just trainers, we also do projects for corporate clients. And so when we train, we train from that methodology. Our curriculum and all always reflect real world experience and all of that. So that's where we try to differentiate ourselves, and we don't leave our clients, which means after training you keep getting support. It's not a transactional thing where after the training we say bye bye to you and you're on your own. We try to give that continuing support, even if webinar is one of the initiatives that came out of a way for us to keep making people to learn and practice and keep their knowledge active. So MHS Analytics is similar, except that we do more of projects here in Canada, and we have a product which I will let you all know towards the end. Later on, not towards the end here. All right, so now we go to our presenter. His name is Benson, Edah, and if you are in the session we had previously, I'm sure you will already be familiar with kind of quality, and he's very good at teaching. Like he's amazing. Even though the webinar is over the web, you could feel it as if he's right there in the hall, as if we are in the hall and he's right there with us. So I'm going to put his LinkedIn link in the chat so that you can connect with him. And I'm going to hand over to him now. So over to our presenter, over to you, Benson. I'm going to stop sharing both my screen and my video. So Benson, you want to take us away? Benson, you're on mute if you probably are trying to say something.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, so good evening, everybody. I appreciate the opportunity given to me to be here again, and thank you, Mr. Michael. As has been introduced by Michael, my name is Benson, Edah, and I'm a marketing comms expert and also a data analyst. I have over 15 years experience in the marketing industry in Nigeria and in the Ghana market, and that was what even led me into my data or my tech journey. So I'm glad to be here. I don't want to take much of our time. 15 minutes of our time has already gone. So I would like to start. Let me share my screen. So looking at the topic before us, advanced Excel.
Okay, Benson, just to check with you, have you shared your screen?
That's what I'm doing. I should click the screen or the window. The screen.
I usually say people should do entire screen.
Okay, I want to click on the screen.
Yes, screen is what we always recommend.
Okay. So looking at
Nice.
the topic before us, advanced Excel functions, and can you see my screen now?
Yes. Yes. Carry on,
Okay.
please. Yes.
Advanced Excel functions and formulas. Um, I looked at the topic, and it was quite interesting to know exactly where to come from, how to start, because we have a lot of functions and formulas in Excel. So I looked at it. You know, you can go about it in the alphabetical order or in the category, order. But I just want you to follow me. For some people, the functions and formulas might not be advanced, but for some people, it might be advanced depending on where you are, in your career. But I know that whatsoever would share together this evening at least will refresh some people's skill, and we'll get to learn. We'll get to learn new things, as we proceed. So I want to start with the date. I looked at the date function, I looked at the lookup functions, look at the logical functions and all of that, a lot of them. But let's start with the dates this evening without taking much of our time. I'm still audible. Everybody can hear me? Hello?
Yes, you are.
Okay, fine. So I'm starting with the date function this evening, excuse me. Um, Excel. In Excel started with if you are conversant with Excel started with the 1900, a date. So let me, let's say we have, and it started counting from that 1900 to date. So let's say like we have 1st of January 1900. Then let me do control. So so let me take that control there. So this was the date, that Excel, in the programming of Excel, this is the first day that they started. All languages, JavaScript has its own. There are other languages that have their own a commencement date. But for Excel, this is the commencement date, and it's on your first January 1900. But if we want to see the exact date of this date, we'll just use our Control Shift, and it gives us the first day of January. The first day of the year, that's the beginning. So it starts like that: first, second, third, and so on and so forth. So beginning point with Excel is 1st of January, days in between the dates. So if we want to know the number of days from 1900, it's just for us to, if you come to this function now, let's say today, today's dates, let's use our, let's look for these dates. This is 2nd of July 2023. So we are today is 2nd of July 2023, which is today's date. So for us to get back, let me Control Z. This is the generic, the number you are seeing, the 45,109, is the generic format of Excel date. Today's date, when formatted as general, will give you the number of days since 1st of January 1900. So if I should take from today, which is the 2nd of July, to 1st of January 1900, we have 45,109 days. So if I want to put that one in date, I will use the shortcut Control Shift 3 to take it back to the date. Then if I want to change it back to the number of days, I'll use my Control Shift Edah. That is the key on your keyboard to your left hand side, with a tiny worm-like shape. You see there on top. So you have to use Shift, to be able to activate it. So let's continue. I think that should be clear. So let me just take that again. So if I'm looking at from 1st of January 1900 to date today, it will give us 45,109. And if you want to go back and forth, Control Shift 3 to take it to the date format, and Control Shift Edah to take it to the generic number of days. So to continue from there, if we want to, let me remove all these ones. So we are using to use shortcut. This one is giving us, because most of us must have seen Excel writing, a date like this in this general format. This is the number of days. This is time. This is number of days and time. So if we want to do this, let me just bring in this 43345. If I want to find the date, so this is giving me is 2nd of September 2018 for my shortcut. And if I want to take it, this is giving me time. Now that means we know that in a day we have 24 hours, and we should have fractions of days, before us. So if we want to do this one, let me just control. So this one is giving us time. So this time in the general form is 6:43 p.m. That's the time that it is giving us, 6:43 p.m. So if I want to change this to time, it's just for me. Let me type it again. If I want to change it to time, I'll use Control Shift 2 to change it to time. Then if I want to change this one to, this one is having two formats now. It has the general form is having the total number of days, and it's also having a time. So if I want to do this, I can put my cursor here and use Control Shift 1 to open the format table. To open the format table, so that we can format that, we can format these dates. I don't know why. Okay, we have it now. So here you can actually pick your date, and you can pick any format that you want. You can even customize it depending on how you want it, depending on how you want to write it. Let me go back to the date. I can pick this date format and time. Let me just okay this and see. So it's giving us this. Let me control that. So let's go to the custom. Let me clear this away. We can do the year from the time I have on my Excel, on my laptop. We have our months, but let me just do year slash month slash month. Then I want to follow the format there. Yes, that then hour. can even add PM and AM. So we can see, let's do that again. Get the, to get the exact, so let's pick this, or let me pick this format, okay? So we can see the date, the month, the day, the year, and the time, using the format dialog box. So coming down, we can see that even when we're getting into the year 2000, century, we all had the experience of the Y2K experience. So you can see what I wrote down here. The day, these are years in between decades and centuries. So if we are looking at there's this Y2K problem or the Y2K challenge from 30 to 99. From this 30 to 99 indicates 1930 to 1999. Then this 00 to 29 indicates 2000 to 2029. So why is there a challenge? Let's say you put 12/21/21 and we say, okay, you can see that it is not giving us, it will not take you, it will be giving you the 20th century date. It will not give you the 1930 to 1999 date, except if you specify it. You have to specify it to indicate, okay, I'm talking about 1921, then it will stay. But if not, it will not stay. Okay, let me even take this. Let me remove this. So if we want to refer, in essence, if we want to refer to 1930 to 1999, it has to be specified. Otherwise, it will take you to the century between 2000 and 2029, and it will not recognize the 1930 to 1999 dates, except you specify it. If we specify it now, it will stay. But if we not, let me take another year. Let's say 20. Let me just put 23 there. Once we click, it will give us 2023, but it will not recognize 1930 to 1999, except you have to put it in. So let's say 19. Let me use 1930 or 1920. So on 1923, it stays. So that's a bit of a challenge. So that's how Excel recognizes, the dates. So because of similar days, so if you want it, if you know you are working between 1930 to 1999, you have to specify the dates in the 19th century dates. But for the 2000 to 2029, whether you specify it or not, it will bring it up. So if you are working with Excel date, these are the things we should take into consideration. Then let's just look at some simple, before we go to the complex areas, of these date functions. So we are looking at a start date and end date. So we can actually do calculations based on our dates in Excel. So let's say if we want to get this reference cell now, let me just put enter. Then if I want to take it to the generic form, I'll use my control theta. It will give me the number of days. Then the same for this, enter. Then let me use my control theta again to give me. Then if I subtract, let's do the subtraction on the left before we go to the right. If we do equals to, I'll take the end date. Sorry. Take the end date. give us 2,321 days. Then if we do the same thing here, this minus this, still give us the same thing. So this is the general form of the date. This is the date I will need. If I want to convert this one to back to date format now, I'll use my Control Shift 3. Then I convert this one the same date. So let's look at this one. Installation date, lifespan date. When will it now be the replacement date? You know, so if I have the lifespan of an item and I have the installation date, so it's for me to add the lifespan to the installation date, and that will be equals this I don't know why it's not referencing. So that will give me the date. If I want it in the date, that's the date. Let me do. It's telling me 23rd of June 2022 will be my replacement date. Then if you also want to do that, if I want to do that here now, equals this, enter, equals. If you do the addition here now, let me take this one. If you add it, it will still give you the same thing. If you convert it to the date, it will still give you this plus. It's still giving me 23rd June 2022. The same thing. So we are looking at 90 days before the date and 90 days after. What will be the 90 days before this date? It will be this date. Let me put this minus 90 days. And this one will be this plus 90 days. So we can see that there are calculations that we can do, with our dates, whether it's in the general form or in the date form. So let's look at this one, today and now function in terms of dates. So the now function, you can do it two ways. Either you use the function, there's a today function and there's a now function. If you are using the today function, it's dynamic, it changes. But if you want to hard code it, you have to use the short code to put it there. So let's use the today date first. Let's use the today function. Enter. Giving us 2nd of July 2023. Then if I want to hard code it, I don't want it to change, I will use my control semicolon. Also give me the same thing. This one will change. The one I used the function to do, but this one will not change because I use the shortcode to create that stamp. So when you want to do it, is control semicolon. Control. This one will not change. Then coming to the current time, we can use the now function. Sorry. The now function. So the now function, why the today will give you just the date, the now function will give you the date and the time. So if I want only the current if I want only the current time here, and I don't want the date, I'll use my Control Shift 2 to get only the time. If I'm interested in only the time. Then if I want the current time too, I will use my Control Shift semicolon to get the time. I think our time is 4:37. So this is the one I use my Control Shift semicolon here to get the imputed time. This one will not change, but this one will change, that I use the now function to do. This one I use Control Shift semicolon, then this one I only use Control semicolon. So depending on by the time you watch the video, if you are taking notes, so that these shortcuts, they are very easy to forget. Then let's come to other functions of dates. Here I've already imputed today's date, which is 2nd of July. Then here I have put the year, date, year, month, and day. So let me remove all these values. Let's work it out together so that you see how I did it. My light just went off. So people. So let's use our date function. Our date. So here we need the year, comma, our day, our month, comma, then we need our week, then bracket close. So we have our day. Then if you want to get your day, is day. Then we look at the current date, which is this today. Then get our day. We are in day 2. Then for you to get your month, you use your month. We use our current date. Now July. Then now we use our year. We use our current date to get the year. So let's look at e-date and end of month. I call them everyday date and end of month and date. Please, could you just give me 2 minutes? Let me do change of power, Mr. Michael, so that this whole my system won't go off. Hello, are we there?
Yes, we are here. But I missed what you asked me.
I said just 2 minutes. Let me do switch over power. So
okay. No problem. By the way, to everyone in, if you have questions, you can put them in the chat box for now, and then I'm going to read them out to him at the end. And also at the end, if you prefer to ask your questions directly, you just indicate by raise of hand, and I'll promote you to the presenter. But thank you for following and staying with us.
Hello, I'm back.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, so can continue. So we'll be using our e-date. The question here is that the date, using a date in our in 6C to determine all these values. So we are going to be using this today's date. So we are going to be looking at our e-date. It said the date 1 month after the date in C6. So if we are using our e-date in doing that, it's quite straightforward. our e-date. So we have equals, this is a date function that user so our start date is this current date in 6/6 in 6/6. They'll put our then we are looking at the date 1 month after the date in C6. So in doing that 1 month, that means we should put 1 because it's just 1 month after this present month. So we include is giving us, so exactly 1 month from today will be 2nd of August 2023. It said the date 1 month after the date. So we are in 2nd of July now. So 1 month, exactly 1 month now will give us 2nd of August 2023. Then the date 1 month before the date in C6. So we are still going to be using the same e-date function. So it will be 1 month before the date in C6. So in this one, we'll still go back to our current date. So what do we use in this case? This one we are looking at 1 month before. The first one we looked at 1 month after. This one we are looking at 1 month before. So since it is before, we'll use -1. Enter. So it takes us back to 2nd June 2023, which is actually 1 month before 2nd of July. Then let's look at the end of month. I call it end of month function. So this one is telling us to look at the date, the last date of the month. So that's the last date of this month that we are in. So if we are looking at the last date of this month we are in, our start date is 6/6. But what would be the month that we have to impute? Since we are looking at the same month, we will use 0 because we cannot use 1, which is after, and we cannot use -1, which is before. So since it's the same month, we use. So it will, the last date of this month is 31st of July 2023. This one, we're looking at the last date of the month, 1 month after the date in C6. Let me repeat. So we are looking at the last date of the month, 1 month after the date in C6. So that will give us that since we are looking at 1 month, we use 1. Let's close the bracket and enter. So it will give us 31st of August 2023. Then the last date of the month, 3 months before the date. The last date of the month, 3 months before the date. So this one, we'll still go back to our today's date. Then, comma. Then which month we are going, since we are looking at 3 months before this current month, it will be -3, which is just logical. So we have 30th of April 2023. So let's proceed to other applications, because the thing I discovered is that after learning all these functions and all, one tends to forget, because if you are not using it or see real life application of it, you won't really know the relevance or the use of all these data. And we all know that as data people, there's no way you will do analysis without using your date. So we have an applying advanced dates function. We have HRO leave roster here. We have employee's name. We have leave start date. We have days granted. We have days to resume. So let me assume now that you are an HRO personnel and you want to calculate when Emmanuel Kwachi will resume, or when all these people will resume. So we just need to, what we need to do, there's a function in Excel that you can either use a workday or workday international. So depending on the one you want to use. So let's use workday first. Workday, we have our start date, which is this for Emmanuel. Then the days, the number of days, which is this, comma. Then taking holidays into consideration, because you cannot minus holidays, you know. So we'll lock down those cells because I'm going to drag down the function F4. Then we'll close our bracket, then we'll press enter. So it should resume 30th of November 2017. So when you drag this down, it will give you the days of resumption of all the stuff. Then if you want to use the other function, workday international, this one takes into consideration your weekend, because some people's weekend might not be Sunday, Saturday. Some people's weekend might be Monday, might be Tuesday. It depends on the nature of what you are doing. So it's still the same thing. We can take this, which is our start date, take the number of days, which is 15, then our holidays. Normally people take Saturday, Sunday, so let's use 1. Let me come here because I want to highlight this stuff. So if we use, let me highlight this one. So function F4 to lock it. Then because I took from up, let me increase this one to 69. Bracket close. So it still gives us the same thing, but the difference is that it takes into consideration this workday international takes into consideration the weekends. So let's carry on. So let's say you are starting a project and you want to know the end date of when the project will end. You want to know the exact date. You know, all these are applications of the Excel date function. You want to know what date that the work will end. So let's use our, for us, the expected end date. You know, so going forward, we can use our workday international. So what he's saying is that if we have 90, if our start date is this date, it's here, then we have 93 work days. After 93, if we have 93 work days, then what will be our expected end days? You know, for it to complete, we want to look at the end date, given that we have 93 work days in the future. The project is starting now, and we are giving, okay, you have 93 days to finish this project. So what will be the expected end date? If you are only taking off on Tuesdays, that is the first condition. Then the second condition says if you are only taking off for Sunday and Monday and Wednesdays. So let's look at the different conditions we have been given. So let me take our start date, and the number of days is 93. Then our weekend, they say we are taking only Tuesdays off. So we scroll down, only Tuesdays off. We are taking only Tuesdays off. So close our bracket and press enter. So these ones, the expected end date will be 30th of May 2014. So let's go for the second one, because the weekends are not the same. So if we will still take the same thing, our start date, then are 93 days. Then we are having Sundays and Mondays. We have Sundays and Mondays. So we click on that. 19th of June. Then the last one, we'll see you the same on Workday International. We have our start date. We have our 93 days. Then if you scroll, there's nothing like Monday and Wednesdays as off days. We have Monday, Tuesday, we have Tuesday, Wednesday, we have Wednesday, Thursday, we have Thursday, Friday. There's nothing like Monday and Wednesday as off days. So how do we tell Excel that our weekdays, our off days are Mondays and Wednesdays? So to be able to do this, let's bring in our code. For every day that is an holiday, we'll use zeros and ones, which are binary numbers. So for every day that is our holiday, we use 1. For every work day, we use 0. So we use 1 Monday, beginning from Monday, then 0 for Tuesday, 1 for Wednesday, then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Close it and close our. That gives us 20th of June 2014. So because we can see that the end date, depending on their days off, are not the same. So let me just go through this thing again. We use the Workday International, picked our start date, which is C48, took the number of days we were expected to work. Then, because we don't have this as this option of off days in our options, what we did was that we represented our holidays, our off days with 1 and our work days with 0, so that Excel will understand our off days. So let's quickly do this. Taking date. So we want to know the days between start and end date, number of days to complete a particular project. If we take Tuesdays only as off days, Sunday and Mondays as off days, this one we will use another formula, which
Benson, your audio is gone. It also looks like his screen is frozen. I'm going to see if I can reach him another way. Sorry, everyone, for the break in presentation, if I can call it that. I'm notifying him already that I'm sure he'll probably also would have noticed that he's no longer in this session. He would pop up again. I've notified him that he's lost connection. But just to ask, any comments, questions yet? I'm looking in the chat box. Okay, I see. What's the difference between network day function covering workday and network day function, including the .international? Okay. Oh, I see Victor's answer. Oh, okay. It was asking. Okay, Paul, do you want to unmute and maybe ask the question again? So that we can get. I'm going to promote you as a presenter so that you have the ability to unmute. I'm going to do that. Okay, someone else also is saying something, but I'm not yet able to read it all. I'm trying to promote. And okay, so Paul, you can unmute and ask the question. Even if at least that can help us, even while we get Benson back in, we might be able to answer the question for you. Michael, I have an observation which you might want to inform your participants ahead of time. I couldn't chat from my phone. Oh, okay. I had to log in with my laptop to chat. Oh, okay. Thanks, Yetunde. Is there anyone else who joined from the phone? Can you confirm if it's the same for you? You can't access the chat, or maybe you can't type in. By the way, Yetunde, was it that you couldn't even access the chat, or you could see the chat but unable to type in? So we can even know if it's a access or a read or a write problem. Oh, okay. So it seems like the issue you face is something that is isolated. So Chi Nedum says, in fact, not only is it saying he's able to type in the chat and he's joining from the phone. If someone's hand is up, okay, Kofi, I'm going to make you a presenter so that you can also unmute and say something. Okay, so Kofi, yes, I've made you a presenter. You will need to unmute yourself. Then you'll be able to speak and we will hear you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, my chat box wasn't active. That's why I raised that now.
Okay, your own chat box is not. So it's a fairly common problem with Teams, especially when people are joining from different tenants. Different tenants mean the email address and in the domain is not the same for all of us. So it's a fairly common problem also to has a fairly easy solution. It's always almost like what they tell you that, if your PC is having problem or if your gadget is having an issue, turn it off, turn it back on. So the solution is always like log out, log back in, and most times, all those things resolve. I'm guessing though Yetunde seem to have find a better solution of using a laptop. But whenever I join other people's team session, and we are not all in the same organization, and I notice something is acting weird, either maybe I'm not able to access the chat or I'm not seeing the screen, or one of all those common things that I use that I'm not able to access, I simply log off and log back in. So, okay, thank you. Paul, are you able to unmute yourself, or do you want to give a clarification to your question? Oh, both sides. Okay. Okay, great. Victor, maybe we let you do the honor. So do you want to help us clarify for him?
Okay, all right. Can you hear me? Confirm you can hear me.
Very clearly.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm not a presenter today, so I should just hold my peace, right? So, but okay, so let me start with, workday and network days. So when you use workday, what that means is you have a start date and you have a number of working days and you want to get what the end date will be. So for example, if I start a job on the 1st of January and I'm going to work for 20 days, and when we say work for 20 days, we're not talking about calendar days now. We're talking about work days. And you want to find the date that project or that task could be completed, you use the work day. Okay, so work day takes like a start date, number of days, and it can give you an end date. So that's when you use Workday, which is basically the same for Workday and Workday International. I'll still come to the difference. But when you now look at network days, for network days, what it means is that you're trying to calculate the number of working days between two dates. So if I have a start date, 1st of January 2023, and maybe 1st of September 2023, and somebody wants to know how many working days you're going to have between those two dates, then you use network days. So network days is when you want to find the number of work days between two dates. Then work day is when you want to find an end date, when you have a start date and the number of days. So it's kind of like, word and opposite. Okay, so in one, you have the start and end, you get the number of days. The other one, you have the start and the number of days, you get the end. But it's the same equation, basically. Start plus number of days gives you the end. So that's basically the difference between workday and network days. Okay, but when it now comes to the international, the difference is, so it means you have Workday and you have Workday International, you have network days and you have network days international. What the international just does is the international introduces another argument, which is the one that gives you the flexibility for the weekends, which was what Benson just did before, he was, I guess, maybe cut off by a network. When you pull up like your Workday or you pull up network days, they have standard weekends, which means like in Nigeria here, we know that our standard weekend is Saturday, Sunday. In some other places, it's maybe Friday, Saturday, right? So Excel already has some inbuilt weekends with the workday and network day function, okay? But when you now want to have like extra flexibility over, the weekends, then you should be using the international, because the international can allow you to define anything. So if in your own country or in your hypothetical, world that you live in, you work on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, you may not have that argument already predefined. So what you can do with network days or work days international, both of them, the international version, is you can specify, and customize that weekend option. So if you pull the two functions, I don't want to share my screen though. If you pull the two functions up, you will see that Workday, for example, has just three arguments. You will see a start date, you will see the number of days, and you will see holidays. But if you pull Workday International, you will see that it has start date, it has number of days, it has weekends, which is an optional argument, and it has holidays. So that weekend flexibility or customization is the difference between the international and the regular one. So I typically always use the international anyway, So, but in terms of the difference between Workday and network days, Workday gives you an end date from a start date and number of days, while network days gives you the number of work days between two dates. So that's basically the difference. Then the international just adds, the flexibility of the weekends. So I know it's easier to, visualize than listen to somebody just say it, but I hope, that kind of helps in some way. So thanks, Michael.
Thank you very much for that answer. I know that Paul has also indicated that he's gotten the answer too. I was about to share my screen to just maybe show, but
no, that may be good, for the benefit of everybody. I don't think that will be out of place. We may as well just do that.
I'll just show what you said about the extra parameters. That's the only thing I think I will do. So
okay, that's great.
Already got what you said. So let me just do that. And if by the time we are done, if you have any questions, please do ask. And so the advantage is that by the time we answer all our questions and the speaker is not back in, we can end the session. I'm also keeping an eye on the window. Okay, good. I think my screen should be showing now. Good. So I'm going to just try to do a zoom. And so let's start with the work day. And I'm going to show you by just clicking this, you'll see zoom. I hope the zoom works perfect. So you see that we have 1, 2, 3 options. Okay, there is no option that allows us to let me start with difference between Workday and Workday International. So Workday, 3 options, right? I'm going to go, I will just grab this as a screenshot. Screenshot to be grabbed. Screenshots. Keep keep within Excel. Then I'll do the international version, and you'll notice that there will be something extra we will get. Okay, so you'll notice that we have one more option pop up. So I'll grab this screenshot too and keep it beside us. Okay. To use the checking if Ben is back. Okay, check back. All right, so that explains between the Workday and the Workday International. And then I will do likewise for the network day. So someone said pictures coming in. For the network days, with this, I am guessing you will even see also the main difference in terms of instead of it asking for days into the future, it's asking for the end dates. So I'm going to just grab the screenshot. Okay. So size, great. And I'm sure you already figured out that the network days international will be all the options we have for the network days plus one additional argument, which would be to specify the weekend. So with this, I'm going to stop sharing my screen soon. But any other questions or comments, or anybody wants to say something else before we end the session? For everyone, for those who have asked about recording, the recording is going to be made live, like made accessible by tomorrow. Yes, by Monday, my team members who work on the production, they try to complete it and put it on the YouTube. So what I have done is I have put up the YouTube link in the chat box, so you can maybe go there now, and what will be the easiest way to be notified? I think you will subscribe. If you subscribe, you will be easily notified once we upload. And not just that, maybe to show you what it looks like. If I go on the chat box and I click on the link I shared, and I bring it to, it's open on my other screen, I'm going to bring it over to this screen. So you will see not just the one that you are a member or the one you just joined, and you will see other recordings of previous sessions. And if you like something you missed, there is a session that you look at the title and it's like something you are really interested in, you just watch. And we also do post tutorials that are not these lengthy webinars. Okay, so I think we will probably just end here. Any questions or contribution or comments? Or by the way, we are always looking for speakers, and to let you know, I think personally, I don't know about my other team members because I'm not the only one who try to get us speakers. But for me, I give preference. I want to have speakers from amongst us, Africans. And I try to also, when I see someone present frequently and share knowledge, I try to nominate them also for MVP awards. And why for me I do this is there are a lot of people in I think we have a confidence crisis kind of thing. We always look at it as if we need to be, we look at the best in the field and we see our gaps and we think we are not ready to share what we know. And it's not that way. Learning is a journey, and it's two parts. One part is what you learn. The other part is as you teach others and you are forced to, create teaching materials. You always also learn more, and you are able to rub minds with other people. And sometimes people share their own knowledge with you, comment, ask questions that help to solidify what you've learned. So I use this as an opportunity to allow people to, those who think they are still learning, then they will see it as another way to solidify their learning. And those who probably are already, they don't have that, what I call confident crisis. They don't feel like they are not good enough to teach others. So those people, it's even easier. So this becomes an opportunity to share your knowledge. And what I'm simply saying is, if you want to get a presenter slot, just email us at webinar. I'm putting it in the chat box. Email us at webinar@yourbizedge.com. If this was something that we are selling and we are trying to advertise and we are trying to give what do they call it, testimonials, I'm going to say we have been able to nominate, I think, 3 presenters from here for Microsoft MVP, and they got awarded. It has nothing to do with our nomination per se, but it's just to show you that we help you to maximize your presence, or what's the word, maximize the impact of what you are doing. So they do a lot more than whatever they do here, but at least they get someone else who sees the value in their work and is willing to give nomination, let me put it that way. So we are always trying to help in the community. Kofi, your hand is up. You can unmute and speak. So please, try to grab a presenter slot with us.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. Yeah, please, thank you very much for this tutorial. It has been very insightful. I work in a financial institution, and I want to know how we can use these date functions to automate our loan deduction date. Yeah, because it's one challenge, and I'm really happy that I've joined for this session. So, like, is there a way that we can adopt these date functions to automate the deduction? Like, say, someone has come in and we have a deduction date from, say, 1st April. So on every 1st April, we ask to deduct. That's what I want to know. Thank you very much, Mike.
Okay, it's breaking, but you can confirm if you see my screen, and if you can confirm that I'm doing the right thing. Like, so say we give someone a loan, we issued some entity, person, or company a loan of, I'm going to use my currency. So, let's say it's let's just use a nice round figure, 10 million, right? And so maybe they're going to be paying quarterly, right? Should I say quarterly increment? Okay. Then, like, I'm involved in a lot of modeling for clients where I need to also factor in the loan term sheet, and most of the loan term sheets, especially quarterly one, they will say, oh, your payments are going to come, exactly on maybe 10th of every 3 months, So maybe they give you the loan today, then 10th of 3 months into the future. So let's say this will be the 10th day of the next 3 months. And is there anything you want me to add in the terms before we start to say, okay, if I give you the loan on, let's say you get it today. Today is 2nd of July 2023. Right? So this is when you say this is the issuance date. Okay. And let's say repayment schedule. So I'm guessing your question is, how can we use the days to some way do some automated computation of this? Okay, so I guess one more thing I need to probably specify is how many quarters the person needs. Okay. Something is happening on my laptop, but I hope you still hear me. For some reason, something is acting weird on my laptop. So,
Yeah, I can hear you.
okay, and you still see my screen. That's all I need to be aware. Let me put my screen here on a different. Apologies that you hear background noise. Someone is trying to hijack my session. So let's say it's going to be a 4-year loan. 4-year loan. Duration of the loan maybe is 4 years, which means it will be 4 times 4. That would be 16 quarters of repayment. Okay. So now if I break it into principal repayment, so let's say the usual loans, except one takes a bond kind of, most loans you repay principal and interest on same frequency. So it won't be, some will be you pay interest only, you pay principal at the end, like a bullet payment. But let's use the much more commercially, the way the commercial banks set their terms. So principal repayment, interest repayment. I'm not going to worry too much about the calculation of these ones, but we'll focus maybe more on the dates part of it. So close, outstanding, loan, balance. Okay, so let's start with, if I have the issuance date and I know we are going to be repaying on the 10th of every 3 months, or we could even start easily and say maybe we are going to repay same day, 3 months from now. There's a date formula that allows us to say key dates. Oh, Benson is back. So I'll wrap up
Please,
my
where
answer.
did I stop?
Even me, I don't remember. But there's a question someone asked, so I will just hurry up and give the control back to you.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's asking that how can we use dates to get out like a loan schedule repayment. So I'm now letting you know that there's a formula, the key dates that allows you to say every 3 months. Get me the date 3 months from now. And like you already showed us that when this comes up with the number, we can format that dates. The basic question I don't use keyboard shortcut alphabet, but I know how to click format data and create it this way to get the same format that I have there. And then I can say that this will also be key dates. These dates are named 3 months after. So if I do this, one can do it better in that days, but I just want to bring out the concept of that. I can always use a date function, in this case date, to space out things in the frequency that I want. To just be getting me these dates, same day of the month, but X number of months after. So I will stop hijacking the question and go back to Benson. So Benson, I think we might have to wrap up at this point, but I'll stop sharing my screen so that you can take control back.
Please, I would like to know where I stopped. I didn't even know I was offline. I just continued.
Oh, geez. I think where you were, if I remember correctly, was
I still on the date, or I moved on to lookups?
No, you are on dates. You are probably trying to finish dates because you are still on dates. Your screen was frozen.
Wow. I've even
That means you
done.
didn't get my message. I even
I didn't
sent
get
you.
your message.
Yes.
Ah.
Yeah.
So I've even gone to lookups. I've finished this. Well, let's just round up with this.
Okay. All right. You share your screen again.
Okay. I didn't know I was offline. Ah, man. Serious matter. Let me share it again. Okay, I've seen it. Man.
Someone said you are on Project B.
Project B. Okay, I'll go back there. We'll just finish and there. Am I on screen now?
Yes.
I'm coming, it's still coming up. My screen is not moving. I've gone off. Can you hear me?
Yes, we do.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, we hear you. You don't hear us?
Okay. Can you see my screen? I can hear you. Can you see my screen?
Yes, your screen is visible.
Okay, there is problem.
Then just to notify, is it possible that we can?
It's moving now. It's moving now. So,
Oh, okay. Are you able to do maybe like 6-7 minutes? There's one other session we
yes,
have
yes.
after. Okay, good.
Yes,
Thanks.
yes, yes. I'm almost done. I'm almost done. So he said I stopped at project B.
Yes, project B in the dates one was actually in
Yes.
date.
Okay, this was where I stopped. Okay, I finished calculating all this stuff. I don't know if you followed me to the end of project B or I stopped somewhere.
You can go to project.
Let me just start from project B again. I think we're almost round up. So I'm getting reference from my other cell. Let me just close this. But can't do this one again. I'm coming. I don't know where I'm getting this reference. Let me close this file.
I think you're in edit mode. You may just want to press escape to come out of it.
I think so. Okay, we are good now. So let me just take this one again. Sorry, I didn't know. So yeah, we are looking at, we want to determine the duration between the start of the project and the end of the project. Our net working days. Just continue. Network days international. Then we'll take our start date, end date. They said only Tuesdays only. So we'll close. Click enter. That gives us 161 days. It will be the same for our next day, the other, our start date. We have Sundays and Mondays. So then we do same using our networking based international again. We take the start date, end date, and we don't have Mondays and Wednesdays as holidays. So what we will do is to use that same. Well, every off days we use one, which is Monday, Tuesday. Wednesdays we are not working, then Thursday, Friday. This gives us the if your holiday is Tuesdays off, only you have 161 days. For Sunday, Monday, 135 days. For Monday and Wednesdays, 134 days. Then this is the last table here. So we want to determine the number of years, months, and days that an employer, has worked. So what we'll do, let's start with the number of days in service. Go to today. We use our today function. Minus the date employed, because it's giving us 7th of March 1930. I'll just drag that one down. So to convert this to the number of days, I'll use my plus the number of days. And if I come here, then the number of years. So we do the year of today. Bracket close, minus the year of our date employed. So we can see it has given us the dates. So if we want to know the number of years, we use our control sheet again. Now this was the years in service. Then for the years in months, let me not take our time. We'll do, because it's a bit long. Another good formula you can use here is to use your date diff. But I don't have it in my Excel. I don't know why. I have it here. So it's a very easy formula to use. But because it's not here, I have to do this number of months in service separately, so you can see the formula inside the function wizard. Month of today minus month of the date employed plus 12 multiplying year of today minus year of the date employed. That will give you the number of months that each employee has been employed. So I think, sorry, I didn't know I was offline. I'd even moved on to lookups and all of that. So I think we should have been able to learn one or two things from this, understanding our dates functions and how dates operates or functions function in Excel. Thank you for having me.
Thank you too. For the notes, this file you're using, is it something you shared with us during your first session to the file? This one, is it something that you can also share, so we can include it in the? Oh, okay, great.
Yes,
okay.
There are even notes at the end if you want to know what.
Oh, that will help them, understand. Oh, thank you very much. And imagine, and you've covered a lot, and we just didn't know. I even thought maybe you were trying to reconnect. I didn't know you were not aware. Okay. Yeah. Thank you to everyone too. So we will, as for the recording, it will be live on that same link I shared in the chat box. And what we will do is, once he sends me the practice file, when we upload the video tomorrow too, I'll tell my colleague to upload the file alongside and put the download link in the video description. So it makes it easy for you to access the recording and also the practice file. Yeah, so someone is asking that can we have you again? They want you to come back. So yesterday is asking that, do you have
what I actually prepared for today, we only cover like 1/10.
Jesus. So that means there's a lot more to do then.
Now
So we have to have you back.
we just did the date function. We have not looked at the logical functions. We have not looked at the text functions. There are a lot, the ifs, some ifs, the lookups and all of that. I was on the lookups when I discovered that I was not online any longer. So we still have a lot.
Oh, okay. That's good. That's good news then. It means we will connect with you to pick another date.
No problem.
At your own convenience. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Great. Thanks. Thank you to everyone.
I just wanted to know, did we learn anything from today's date function? I just want to get that feedback, if anything was learned at all from on these dates in Excel. I don't know.
I know for certain that some people, while we lost your connection issue happened, people asked questions that were relevant to exactly what you covered. So yes, people are even replying to that. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. So thank you to everyone, and we have another session in about 30 minutes time with Power BI. I will put the link. So for those who are interested, you'll be able to join, but I'll be handing this one so that the recording will be easy for my team member to edit, So, but thank you to everyone. Thank you, Ben, for the amazing session. Sorry for that we made you, teach some things that we were not able to capture on the recording, but I know that once we pick another date, you'll be able to recover those topics, those ones we taught. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to our guest again, and have a wonderful week ahead. Happy New Year. Thank you.